Hello, gamers from around the world. This is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and I would like to welcome you to today's episode of The World of Gaming, your number one podcast where we discuss everything that the world of gaming has to offer: games, news, and technology. And today we do that with a rock star of the gaming community. We have Mr. Boomstick here. How you doing, my friend?
A rock star, I don't think so, but yes, a big part of the community for a lot of reasons. It's great to be here. Again, apologies for not being able to attend last week. Obviously,
No worries.
the story behind that very simply was Mrs. Boom's wedding engagement. She lost one of the diamonds and she was devastated. So we had to find a jeweler that not only that we can trust, because we're going to hand over her ring that she hasn't taken off her finger in 23 years, outside to put hand lotion on or clean the ring itself. We did, and they did an amazing job. And she was very, very, I think we both were anxious to get the ring back. So when they called, said, "Hey, listen, it's done," I had to fly to go get it, and everything worked out. Her ring is returned to its beautiful state, and
Perfect.
I'm here. So we're here to talk about video games. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. So glad that the ring is fixed. We are super excited to have you on this week. Don't worry about last week. And yeah, we're gonna have an awesome show. But first, I need to welcome, of course, our fantastic community. The chat is already filling up. Welcome to you guys, and of course also welcome to everyone who listens after the fact, either here on YouTube or on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Amazon Music. Last week we had one listen on Amazon Music, Dutch. It's fantastic.
Nice.
We are making big steps over there. But no, seriously, I want to shout out those people that listen, especially on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We've seen a tremendous growth over the last couple of weeks there, so we appreciate you guys. But Dutch, I need to welcome you as well. How you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Tired as ever. But just counting down the days to Gamescom. Like every day, I just get more excited thinking about it. So
me too, man. Me too. We had, I had the big birthday party last weekend, and now I have the head clear for Gamescom, getting prepared, everything, like making t-shirts, we're making everything, getting everything ready. We have all the tickets booked. We are attending opening night live on Tuesday.
Nice.
Front and center. We will be at the press day and the media day. Then we will be there at the public day. And now we have to, fingers crossed, get those tickets for Xbox Fan Fest. So yeah, it's exciting, man. Gamescom is near, and we're definitely gonna talk about Gamescom today. But first, I wanna say a big thank you to all the super chats that already came in. The first comes in from John TJ, who sends in $2 and says, "Xbox should buy Square, Enix, and Sega." Yeah, man. I mean, Sega. They especially with Sega, they tease that a lot lately. I don't know if it's really an acquisition that they are teasing, or if it's just some Game Pass drops, but there's definitely something going on there, and Square will definitely be a topic a little later in the show. And then we have Sith Lord, who sends in a super member chat and says, "More Boom the better, I love Arcade Paradise." Absolutely, man. It's always awesome when Boom is here. So, and then we have Xbox International Podcast, our friend Crazy Louie, who sends in a super member chat and says, "Boxenberger, World of Gaming, let's go." Oh yeah, we're gonna have an awesome show. We have so many fantastic things to talk about. And then Fanto Sir sends in also a super member chat and says, "Happy Boxyversary." Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. I'm part of the 40s club now. Boom. So yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna have so much to talk about. Of course, Gamescom has been a big topic. Not only we are excited, but the Xbox gonna have their biggest Gamescom ever. We definitely will discuss it. We have some interesting things happening on the platform side of things on Xbox. We will discuss that. Baldurs Gate. We have another, big promise that PlayStation made a couple of years ago, debunked. Adding up on the SSD and everything that they promised that didn't turn out the way it is. And that is, of course, that Atmos is now coming to PlayStation. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Stalker 2, console sales, and so much more. It's gonna be an awesome show. But first, Boom, what has kept you busy lately? What you playing?
Oh man, I am knee deep or zombie deep into Dead Island 2. My God, what an amazing, absolutely fun game. I said this last night on Prime Time. This is a game that was in development for almost 9 years. It went through 5 different development teams, and I'm here to tell you that it should be on your short list of what to buy. It is so good. It is so much fun. The weapon crafting is amazing. The storytelling is phenomenal. The voice acting is great. Graphically, top notch. Absolutely well worth it. Now, mind you, I bought this when it launched. I bought the $90 edition. It sat in my backlog. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. Finally, I didn't want to play anything too deep, being that Starfield is 29 days away. So I said, I want to play something that's like, not brainless, but it's just fun. Play for an hour, play for 2 hours, you're golden. That's a game definitely should be on your short list. The other one is an old school game that I just came out. Double Dragon is absolutely phenomenal. If you're an OG, it's classic Double Dragon with a bunch of new additions. In fact, there's even a tag system now where you can tag your partner in and out. I've already beaten it once. I'm literally about to beat it again. I will run through it at least a dozen times. It is great. An amazing. Those would have my time.
Sweet. About both games, I hear nothing but good things, and especially Dead Island is very up on my to-buy list, because so many people have been recommending that to me. Definitely need to play that. So, people in the chat, let us hear what you've been playing, and Dutch, what has kept you busy?
Yeah, actually, yesterday, was it yesterday? It was yesterday. I started a little bit of, speaking of classics, Final Fantasy IX.
Ooh,
started.
Nice.
Yes. Started a replay of Final
How is it
Fantasy
holding
IX
up,
again.
man?
Well, apart from the fact that, of course, naturally being an old game that's been HD ported onto newer consoles, so you've got stuck in that like 4x3 letterbox.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, it holds up great. I mean, it's just as soon as you hear the music and you all the sounds and see the characters again, it's just nostalgia filled. But I already know exactly what I need to do, where I need to go, everything I need to do with it. So it's one of them. I've played the game like a dozen times in my lifetime, if not more. So I know the game off by heart, but it's up there with one of my favorite games ever. So I've been thinking about starting it again for like weeks. So I jumped back on that again, and I'm looking forward to playing through it.
Good stuff there. Good stuff. So let's see what our community has been playing. RWK88 plays Serious Sam. Man, I tried that. It is not for me. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of difficult. I don't know. It's like I keep dying all the time. But I do hope you enjoy it, man. Sith Lord has been playing Arcade Paradise. Sweet. And Dave Ramos, Diablo 4. Yeah, that's the spirit, man. That's the spirit. I've been playing that as well. I truly do enjoy Season 1. It's so much fun to create a new character and get these little buffs that help you to level up faster. It's a lot of fun. Jack Purchase plays Resident Evil 4 Remake. Now that's fantastic. And Boom, have you played that?
I'm on my third run right now.
Ah, sweet. Yeah, it is so good.
I just got the rocket launcher and I'm just destroying everything in my path. So
that's and don't forget to save the one rocket you need for the last boss.
I have to admit, I own the game and I haven't even booted it up yet.
Listen, this year is tough, dude. Like that's not surprising. I mean, I haven't beaten. I got 10 hours into Jedi Survivor. Really was marred with so many bugs that it bothered me. So I was like, I'll come back to this when it's done. I put 40 hours, maybe more than that, into Hogwarts, which is still like up there with my game of the year.
Yeah.
I'm literally, I just found like the last wizard in the painting, so I'm close to
Nice.
beating it.
Sweet.
You love the end. The last segment is fire. You will
it
love
is
that
phenomenal.
last segment.
It's what an amazing game. And again, the game had every opportunity to become a train wreck, and it's one of my favorite open world RPGs in like a really long time. Same thing with Zelda. Like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, my God, man, what a just an amazing feat from Nintendo. It's like I said, so when you don't finish a game, it's not because you don't have the skills, it's we don't have the freaking time.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. But I'm with you. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is fantastic. I was not the biggest fan of Breath of the Wild. It was a good game, but it didn't capture like that Zelda feeling. But Tears of the Kingdom is so good. It is phenomenal. Absolutely. So what else have people been playing? Masshole finished Exoprimal.
That's really good. I love that.
That's cool. That's cool.
It's a lot of fun.
Our friend Fanto Sir started to play some retro games with his eldest son and been playing Mario Kart 64.
Oh, that's awesome. That is great.
That is a good one, man. Oh,
you've got as long as, and we have to say, Fanto, if you don't hit him with a blue shell when he's just about to finish the cross, he doesn't know what it's like.
You're not living.
You have to feel that pain.
It's my second favorite Mario Kart of all time. I still think the best one is Double Dash. I loved it. It was like when I started at the university. We have little different system than you guys in the US, Dutch. So it's not particularly the same like college, but similar. And for us, we used to live in a shared apartment, and we were playing Double Dash like crazy. We've been drunk all the time, and then you have like two guys sitting on one card, and you've been playing split screen with 8 people. It was so awesome, dude. Good lord.
That's what game's all about, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Siki has been playing Diablo 3 and Halo Infinite. You can never go wrong with that. So good stuff there. Good stuff. Thanaros plays Shadowrun Returns, which is also a good one, I hear. Yeah, good. So yeah, guys, let's get into some topics. And first, yesterday, there was actually a surprise announcement. At least to me, it came as a surprise. And that is a significant improvement of the Discord integration into the Xbox dashboard. Because now you will be able to stream the game you play to your Discord directly. I did not see that coming. Seriously, I was surprised about that. And I didn't even know that Discord supports that. You know that Twitch does that, and YouTube, well, not from the Xbox app, but in general, you can stream to YouTube. But I did not know that this is possible on Discord, and let alone now directly from the Xbox console. So, Boom, what do you think about this? A feature we need? Something we're excited about?
I have 2 thoughts. One, I'm old. And I'm going to say I'm old because I don't use Discord. I find it incredibly confusing. Like I have it. I have a space. I don't use Discord. I don't like it. To me, it's very muddled. And I say that I'm old because my nephew was like, "Hey, Theo, I'll hit you up on Discord." And I'm like, "Are you serious? Like you have Discord, Tyler?" Sure. I'm old. It's official. So look, I'm going to say this. Not the same way I say not every game is for every gamer.
Yeah.
Is what I have to now equate that to this. I think it's a fantastic feature. And I think that if you are a fan of Discord, and there are a lot, millions and millions upon millions of fans of Discord, this is great. Any addition to Xbox in the way of getting your content to somewhere else for others to enjoy, I think is brilliant. I think this is a brilliant move. I love to see the innovation that's consistently coming to the Xbox. I am going to say something a little bit slanderous. I don't understand why we have not addressed the DVR situation. It's like the one thing that the head's in the sand for. So I though I appreciate this new feature, I still have to come back to, okay, this is great. People love Discord. People love Xbox. It's like peanut butter and chocolate. Let's go. But could we fix the DVR at some point, for the love of Jehovah? I'm just saying. But that I'll leave it there.
I do agree on the DVR thing. It's so weird because when the Series X came out, it was like Jason Ronald was out there, and a couple of others that confirmed that this has a priority. And now we're almost 3 years into the generation, and basically nothing has been done. And it definitely needs fixing. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a content creator, because with a proper DVR, everyone becomes a content creator. People love to share their gaming experiences on Twitter or X or whatever Elon wants to call it these days. It will always be Twitter to me, but or Instagram, Facebook. People love to share their gaming experiences because we are also invested in gaming, and we love to share that and record some great moments. And having a proper DVR is not just good for the content creators on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. It's good for everyone in the community, and I don't get it why they don't fix it, because it's basically free advertisement that you're missing out on. So I do agree there. Although I must say I find it pretty interesting to have that feature. We have a Discord, by the way. I'm dropping the link in the chat for all everyone here in the community who wants to join our Discord. We would happily have you on the Discord. So, but what do you make of this feature?
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting one. I don't know how many people are going to use it, other than for very busy Discord communities where they have specific nights where they'll do it just for their Discord community. Because if you're a content creator and you're streaming, ideally what you're aiming to do at some point is make money from it. There is, whether it be a little or a lot, whatever it is, ad revenue, whether you want to be an affiliate on Twitch and then partner, you work towards goals in order to get monetization so that you can potentially make some form of a living from it, or turn it into a career, or make something from your hobby. Ultimately, YouTube, we do it for fun, and if we didn't enjoy it, we wouldn't do it at all. But naturally, what comes of that is we spend a lot of money on the channel in order to get it to where it is in the first place. So ideally, you need it to make some form of money to recoup the costs that you've put into it. If you're streaming on Discord, the only issue there is that there isn't a form of monetization there as yet. So it's just streaming to your community, and there's no way of also like another side of it is that unless you stream, because it's just streaming to your community. So nobody can just randomly find you when you're streaming.
That is true, but I don't think that this is the intention of this entire thing. I don't think that Discord wants to become the next Twitch. Maybe they do, but then obviously they have to change the way how it works. But I think this is more of a feature that is particularly for friends. Like, I don't know, you can't find something in the game, and then I just stream it via Discord to you and share my screen to show you something, in my game. Or
I mean, that would be good, but I mean, the vast majority of people who would stream from their Xbox, the vast majority, like even Daz in chat, who really wants YouTube integration, which I agree with.
What he really wants is like Pineapple Pizza Dreams.
I know.
I know.
But ultimately, if somebody's streaming from it, it's to stream to friends, and the easiest way to find them isn't, okay, add me on Discord and then go through this and then do this. It's just, I'm on YouTube.
Again, I don't think it's like a feature that is built for like really reaching a wider audience. It is just maybe share something with friends. Maybe, I don't know, do something for your Patreons, Patreon-only streams or something like that.
That's what I'm saying. It's primarily, at the minute, just for your own community.
Exactly.
Because it has no form of social sharing outside of just adding on Discord.
That's true.
But other than that, it's always good to have more options. So we've got Twitch and Discord now, and ultimately we need to round it out. You need to get the other two platforms integrated. So as much as Facebook Gaming isn't great, it's there.
Yeah, but
as much as
nobody's using that. That is that platform for game streaming.
Yeah. So then you've got other things. You've got the likes of Kick and things starting up now, and Kick's doing heavy monetization for people and content creators. So people might want that option. People might want YouTube, which is a more difficult option.
I don't think that this is going to come to Xbox. There's just something up with Google and Microsoft. This has nothing to do with Xbox itself. This is like these two tech giants just having an issue, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
But
it's a good addition. I like the good feature. I did know about it before because I know one good thing about the community things is I know a lot of people that do community nights.
Yes.
Where they stream films with each other. So one person can stream a film that they own or stream a film from a streaming service.
Yeah.
And watch it with their community at the same time.
Yeah.
And I like those options. So if you have those big bustling Discord communities, which a lot of big content creators do, it's going to be a benefit. Like you say, these Discord only ones, and you can have them set so it's specifically for Patreons to go into or things like that, where they can watch the stream live in a private Discord server. So there's benefits to it. There's things specifically for members and Patreons and things like that. So
something like that, yeah. So interesting thing, not the biggest topic of the week, but something interesting. Let me catch up on the super chat. Durante J sends in a $5 super chat and says, "I've been playing Diablo 4 and Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And you can never go wrong with The Witcher. I put up some gameplay there because I've been playing it again on my Ally, but I have no footage recorded from the Ally. So this is from my last Xbox Series X playthrough. And Diablo, man, we need to play again. 2 weeks ago or so, we had an awesome evening together. So let me know which level you are, and then we definitely need to play that again. But gentlemen, another big game came out today, Baldurs Gate 3. It's been setting almost records. There was no preload for the 122 gig big game on Steam. And within the first couple of hours, it already hit 100,000 live concurrent.
It's currently at 200K.
That is 200 now, dude.
Yeah,
that is insane. So I do have two things I want to discuss with you guys. Of course, I already know Boom's thoughts on Baldur's Gate 3, but whether you intend to play it or not. But the bigger question is, we have heard this week as well that it probably won't be before 2024 that it will come to Xbox. And Larian Studios have been very open with that. What's the reason? And the reason is that they can't get the split screen mode running on the Series S. And Xbox has this parity clause, or whatever you want to call it, that you cannot remove game features from the Series S version. You can scale down resolution, you can scale down frames, details, whatever, graphical stuff, but not leave out game modes or something like that. So this has been a topic for a while, but I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this. We've been hearing this more frequently. Today, one of the Alan Wake developers came out and said that he feels the pain that Larian is going through with the Series S. So, guys, do you think that for the next, let's say, 5 years or so until the next gen starts, we will see that more often? And what are your thoughts on this? With respect to Baldur's Gate, of course. Boom. Let's hear your thoughts first.
You know, it's interesting. When you hear that these studios are having difficulty with the Series S development, I gotta wonder if this is a failure at the Microsoft level. Now the Series S is an incredible console for what it does for the price that it's
absolutely
at. It does put Xbox in a bit of a disadvantage with games like this. And what we need to see from Jason Ronald and the team is this unwavering support for studios that are in fact having these difficulties. Now, I can't say specifically if Larian Studios did in fact get support from Xbox.
They did. It was confirmed that the tech team, what is it called, the Advanced Technology Group, is in close contact with Larian.
Okay, so all right, so then that's excellent. I mean that's what we need more of. What I think why I think we continue to see these difficulties and we keep hearing about these difficulties is we need to see the Xbox first party team deliver groundbreaking development for the Series S. We know that the X can do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We have not seen what the peak performance or push to the limit performance of the Series S. Now, the one thing we can somewhat equate that to is hearing that how Todd Howard has been playing through multiple times of Starfield on a Series S.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that is for him to test the capabilities of that console running this monster game. The best thing when we start to see the Series S push to its boundaries by first party, I think we can then have that transitioned over and say, hey, listen, this is what we're doing here. Maybe if you use these techniques, you could get your game to run the same way we have it running on. So I'm not a developer, folks. I'm only speaking in layman terms here, but it's the Series S in itself is a fantastic idea. It is an amazing piece of technology. It allows for a much cheaper entry into next-gen gaming. In the 3 years that it has existed since its launch, there have been some pretty interesting stretches where they have had games on there that are running great and look great. But there needs to be more, if I may be so blunt.
Yeah. You bring up a lot of great points there. It definitely feels actually on both consoles, if we're serious, also on the X, that we have not seen the full potential yet in any game. Maybe we have overestimated the potential, actually on both PlayStation 5 and Series X. And on the other hand, there are some incredible looking games out there. Yeah, if I think about A Blake's Tale, for instance, what that game did on the console, it looks like it is one of the most beautiful games I've seen to date. And it also runs on the Series S. But then, of course, we have to factor in not every engine works the same way. Not every game system works the same way. And you can't compare those kind of games or games in that kind of way in general. And I do have my theory. What is the actual hardware limitation on the Series S? And that's of course the RAM, because I don't think it's the CPU or the GPU that is the limiting factor here. But at the end of the day, Xbox put double the work on every developer with the two tiers system consoles, and it is especially when you don't have the biggest install base in the market. Your potential audience is simply smaller, and you have to do double the work to get your games running there. It is always comes down to this question: when can developers, especially smaller studios like Larian, well, they are not particularly small, but not the biggest one either, but you guys know what I mean. When can they really find the time, money to optimize for those kind of systems? So, Dutch, what do you think about this?
It's becoming a common trend over the last couple of years of developers complaining that they've got to do more work. And it really baffles me as to why developers who get paid a significant amount, and we're talking like a lot of developers, especially in the US, and rightfully so, because they've got the grades and everything for it, but the average pay for software developers, especially at some of these leading studios, is anywhere up to and over 100,000 a year. I would not be complaining in the slightest if I've got to do a little bit extra work to port onto another platform for that money.
I don't think this is particularly the decision of an individual programmer or whatever.
No. But in general, studios are complaining they have to do more work for more platforms, but it's always been the case. Like since PCs and consoles came to the market, it's always been a case of games are now multi-plat. And there's multi-plat studios which have been developing for multiple platforms, multiple configurations for like the last 15 to 20 years now. And it's always been the case. They complained naturally because of the way that the PS3 was built, because it was completely different to the rest of the market.
Yeah.
So you could give them, okay, that's fine. You can complain about that because PS3 mucked up on its entire infrastructure.
Yeah.
And caused issues that way. But when you've got everybody on x86 and PC, console, the works, it is a scalability thing. It's a case of, okay, what do we need to pull back in order to get this to work on this console?
Yeah.
Force it to be essentially don't force it to be the same quality on an S when it doesn't need to be the same quality on an S as it does on an X. You can still have a good enough quality and have it run. Now, the issue that they're coming across is primarily getting the co-op to work to a satisfactory degree. If you're playing it by yourself, it's fine, which is what is kind of been the issue. The game in itself is okay, but the co-op is not on the Series S. But that's not to say that it can't work. And the studio have said that themselves. They said, no, it can. It's just a case of we need to do a bit more work with it. And they themselves, for a change, Larian have never come out, and so to their defense, they've never come out and said, oh, like we're like complaining that they have to do more work. They're just saying, listen, it's just going to take a little bit more work, so we'll release it on PlayStation 5 and PC first, because that's already done.
Yeah.
We're not going to release it on X before it's ready on S, so we'll wait.
Yeah, because then it can't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
they'll just release it when it's ready, and I'd much rather developers did that. I'd much rather developers just said, listen, it's going to take a little bit more time. We don't have to have a simultaneous release on the X and the S on the PS5, or vice versa. If I had an issue with a PS5, just say, okay, well, that one's releasing a little bit further down the line. It makes no difference because whoever's on Xbox is going to buy it on Xbox, regardless. Whoever's on a PlayStation is going to buy it on a PlayStation. Like, it's not going to force like third-party games like that when you know it's coming.
Yeah, they are not the system sellers.
Yeah. So it's not. I'd much rather developers did what Larian did, personally, and just say, listen, when it's ready, we'll get it over there, but we're not going to rush it out until it's fixed. I'm glad Microsoft are going and assisting them to get them to use the tools and in order to get that running properly and get that on there on the Series S. Again, these gigantic games, Baldurs Gate is one of them, are going to use some significant resources, regardless of the graphical stylings of it, i.e. if it looks like a Diablo or something like that, it doesn't mean it isn't technically using up a lot of resources, because it will. But then you've got games of significant size as well on the other side, which is the likes of Starfield, which is running good on a Series S, but then you don't have the network things that you've got to code into it, or the split screen co-op or anything like that.
Yeah.
And of course, when you're doing split screen co-op, that's two instances at the same time on the same screen, which is a bit different. I would imagine if it was online co-op, that would be a different story entirely, because they're not generating the same thing twice.
Yeah.
So, it
is
across the board. Across the board, my issue, specifically this gen and the tail end of last gen, is developers outside of Larian. Developers are just generally complaining a lot that they've got to do a little bit extra work. I'm glad Larian haven't went down that route, but I have seen that trend starting to increase.
We have seen that. And of course, eventually this becomes a discussion point, of course, because again, whether it's a good idea or not depends on the angle you look at this. To have a Series S, of course, for us gamers and the customers, it is a fantastic option, because it is a fantastic price point for a console to get into gaming. Yeah, so of course, from a developer point or publisher point of view, of course, it's simply more work. Yeah, more work costs more money. It will. That's simple as that. So, I
mean, the one thing that I was going to say, the one thing that Microsoft could do in order to ensure that they have it on the Series S is a monetary return for that. Okay, we understand it's going to take a little bit extra to get the Series S operational compared to the Series X and the PlayStation 5. So what we'll do is we'll subsidize the extra development time.
Of course.
That, I think, would be the best resolution.
Probably it would incentivize a lot of developers to do the extra work. Absolutely. I just hope that this is not going to become a trend once we see all those, for instance, Unreal 5 games hit the consoles.
And we've said this for a while though. The lowest common denominator is still
always PC. It is. It is not the Series S PC. That holds stuff back. It is. No. It is PC.
That's why I keep hate seeing that thing on Twitter, and a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
Series S is holding the gen back. It's not.
It's not,
because the PC is still the lowest common denominator by a long shot.
Absolutely. I need to catch up on some super chats though. Dave Ramos sends in a super member chat for being a channel member for 25 months, which is absolutely outstanding. Thank you for the continued support, man. And he says, I would like to hear Microsoft say that they have done everything possible to make developing for Series S and X easier on devs. They haven't. That's on Microsoft. They have become really quiet about their tools. That is a thing. We have not heard much in the last 1.5 to 2 years that they're working on improvements and so on. Whenever we hear them talk, we have this new DirectX 12 API here or there, but that's about it. So yeah, it's a point. Andrew Green sends in a £10 super chat and says, hey gents, don't worry, Boxenberger, I will not give Diablo 4 a hard time today. I'm glad, man, because it's still fantastic. And by the way, on August 8th, the patch 1.1.1 is going to drop, which is apparently going to fix all the issues that patch 1.1.0 had. So the sorcerers and barbarians are getting their buffs, and I cannot wait to play my badass sorcerer again. And he continues, Baldur's Gate 3 is a fantastic game so far. Love the show. So thank you. Glad you're enjoying the program. And I know Baldur's Gate 3 looks so good. I'm still so torn whether to get it or not, because my problem is actually time. I have a very hard deadline coming up in the week before we leave to Gamescom. And I told you that yesterday, Dutch. Yeah, I don't work in the gaming industry. I don't get delays. So my boss is a gamer too. You know, he loves to play video games. Granted, only on PS5, which is a little issue. I've told him that many times. That's why I didn't get a raise. But and I told him, dude, like, games get delayed all the time. We should just delay our project. But he was not okay with that. So yeah, that's unfortunately my problem is time. And then by the time I finish up my project, then we leave to Gamescom, and after Gamescom, Starfield is out. So I probably won't have time to play much of Baldur's Gate 3. But it does look fantastic, and I'm really tempted to get it on Steam so I can also play it on the Ally. So Drawn TJ sends in a $5 super chat and says, we need a Series S handheld. When docked, it's a Series X power at $450. I mean, I love the idea of an Xbox handheld because we've seen handhelds come back big time. But the price point, listen, man, the Ally is €800. I don't know, Boom. What did you pay in the US for the Ally?
Well, see, I wound up getting a deal because I bought it privately from Everborn because he had a spare one.
Okay. So yeah, but
I mean, it's $700 here. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's not cheap. For me, it is going to be the Starfield portable machine, which is why I bought it, because I'm not a PC guy. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, it's my Xbox handheld, man. It's like going back and forth in between Xbox games on console and the Ally. It is already more or less, but this thing is super expensive, and it's not even matching the power of the Series S. So Although it will probably run Starfield at 60. I just want to. So, yeah. TJ, I'm with you. We need a Series S handheld, especially since those have become more popular again. But I don't think that we will get one at a price point of $450. But boom, I want to bring the next topic to you first, because 3 years ago, Sony started to promote the PlayStation 5, and they've promised us so many things. You know, they believe in generations. You remember?
Yeah, supposedly.
Yeah, yeah. And you know about the magical SSD. You know, you don't even need a CPU or GPU or anything else in a console. Games can run solely off of the magical SSD. And Dutch, I know you've been playing Ratchet and Clank now off an HDD, so we know how this really turns out. And there have been so many things that Sony promised and that they got debunked. And one thing was that they have this revolutionary technique. Nobody's done it before. It's completely changing the gaming world. And that is their own Tempest engine, the 3D audio engine. And this week, guess what? They did. They moved away from that and started to implement the industry standard, Dolby Atmos. So I want to hear your thoughts on another thing that Sony promised and simply couldn't deliver. What do you think, man?
I mean, look, it's egg on the face of PlayStation. Obviously, when this statement originally came out, it was two reasons. One, they didn't want to release the new Ratchet and Clank on PlayStation 4 because they wanted people to buy a PlayStation 5. Right?
Fact.
That's just business 101, folks. Not that big of a deal. The problem and the egg on the face is if Sony says it, Sony's just towing the line. They're the brand. They have to say it. Where I'm disappointed is from the studio. Insomniac Games and Ted Price and listen, I'm a fan of Ted Price and team. I think that they are literally carrying the PlayStation brand on their backs. They have released so many great games. There's rumors that they're working on a Resistance Fall of Man remake. There's a Sunset Overdrive 2, which is rumored. They are working on potentially a third Marvel IP on top of finishing up Spider-Man 2, which launches later this year, and Wolverine in 2025. They're putting in the work.
Yeah,
they're one of my favorite PlayStation studios. But when they come out and they're like, it cannot be done. It's because when you go between the rips, and understand this, if you don't have Ratchet and Clank ripped apart, then you should consider buying it. It is one of my favorite in the series. It's like playing a Pixar film. It is gorgeous. It is so much fun. It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it's just really ugly that now you can play this off of a SD card on your Steam Deck. You know what I'm saying?
Even worse, on a regular HDD drive.
Yeah. So it's just a really bad look for PlayStation, and they're notorious for just being liars. That's just what they do. Sorry.
Yeah.
But again, to me, it's a little bit even more disappointing when that's coming from Ted Price and team, which that they're better than that, so to speak. That's just my take on it.
Yeah. I do agree that their misleading marketing has been debunked across this entire generation. And as promising as the first 2 years were, because they had a couple of good games coming. And we talked a little bit about this in the green room before the show. The roadmap that they have shown with this year is a big Sony showcase, the first in 2 years. Yeah. And all we get is games as a service titles that nobody cares about. There's really no excitement in the PlayStation community around those games. Yes, we are all looking forward to Spider-Man 2. I'll be playing it day one, no doubt. Looking forward to it. But after that, what am I looking forward to?
Yeah, exactly.
There's only one title that's forced exclusive, but it isn't first party, and that's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
That's true. That's one
that's
I'm
spring 24.
Yeah. But the credit has to go to Square for that game and not to
exactly.
So yeah. And now we have Atmos right here. Yeah, the 3D audio engine didn't do it. And that's what I always been saying, that you remember that as soon as you leave like the industry standard, people will not optimize for that. It is nobody wants to create their own audio engine just to support the 3D audio of that is only available on PlayStation, when at the same time everyone's developing their games anyway for PC and all other configurations that are out there. Gotta stick to industry standards. But what do you think about this, man?
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what you're saying. It's because they've went away and did again. You would think they would have learned their lesson originally. Why create your own 3D audio engine, your own standard template? Why? What's the point? It's a PS3 scenario again. Nobody's going to pick it up. It's going to be awkward to optimize for. And then ultimately, what you're going to have to do is revert back to the industry standard.
Yeah.
And the industry player, the key player, because originally they came out in all of their press announcements, if people remember, saying we have X amount of million points of audio and nobody else can do this. So Dolby came out immediately and went, yeah, we can.
We can.
We do that.
But the lead engine, I will remember that I made a video about that like 3 years ago or so. It is the lead audio engineer from Dolby came out and said they have seen that, and I don't remember the exact amount, but it was something like 15 to 20 audio lines, and that's all people can realize. If you put in more lines, you simply can't distinguish them anymore, and it all sounds blurry and weird, and that's why you see usually something around plus minus 10 lines in an Atmos format. That's the reason. It's not because it's technically not possible. It just doesn't sound good. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's just a case of just reverting to the industry standard, which everybody uses, and it's already as good as what you had anyway. So
exactly.
So it's just wasting resources is what they've done. That's all they've done. Again, waste resources on a format they didn't need.
But hey, people fell for it. They still believe that Sony is measuring out their ears and optimize everything.
And when it first got announced, everyone was adamant it was better than Atmos, and they were, it's just so much better than it. It's not. It really isn't.
Absolutely. So,
like, Sony's not going to miraculously create industry-leading 3D audio technology overnight when Dolby's been doing it.
You know who does that? You know who does something like that? That's Ninja Theory. What they do with binaural audio technology, that is industry moving forward technology.
Yeah.
But you don't need the Tempest engine for that. Yeah, that's on them. That's a recording technique. And that is actual revolutionary technology in audio. Have you listened to the trailer, the from the Xbox showcase with headphones?
Yes, it is insane.
Chef's kiss. So
can't wait for that game next year.
You know where we will be seeing the game? Not playing, but seeing? At Gamescom, dude. It's gonna be there. It's gonna not playable, but they said it's at the booth, and let's use that as a segue. Boom. I know you're unfortunately not coming to Gamescom.
Yes.
But you have seen the news. Xbox is going big here in Europe this year.
It's a big deal.
It is.
A couple of finite points. Look, here's the thing, folks. We talked about this last on Primetime Gaming. I think that Microsoft, specifically Xbox, and Phil Spencer and team need to keep the foot on the gas, right?
Yeah.
I just got done speaking with King for about an hour and a half. We both feel that Sony's on their heels. And I'm not saying this for console war shenanigans. I'm not being disrespectful, but they're on their heels.
Yes.
The ABK deal that they tried to block blew up in their face. They had to begrudgingly sign a 10-year deal, which, in my opinion, completely destroys their old deal. Again, I'm not a business tech, so business major, I don't know. But I would imagine if you sign a new contract, it negates the old one. They have to sign this 10-year deal, right? And what that entails for me is that it makes Microsoft have the ability to put Call of Duty in Game Pass. So now we move this over to Gamescom. There is absolutely no way, folks, in any shape, form, or fashion, that Phil Spencer, who just spent the last 20 months flying here, there, and everywhere across the world to do deposition after deposition to get this deal done, is going to take another trip to Germany not to bring something with him.
Yeah.
What that is, I don't know. But they're going to be there.
How are they going to be there big? You know what's going to happen? Want to hear my prediction?
Sure. Absolutely.
Opening night live. Jeff on stage. And then GSC Game World comes on stage with Phil Spencer.
Yep.
With Phil Spencer. And we are proud to announce a release date for Stalker 2 this December.
Yeah.
And it's already been confirmed, and you can play it today on the Xbox at the Xbox booth.
I like what you're putting down there, brother. I got to be honest with you. I think there's something to be said about having that game get a release date. And again, you got to remember, this is no fault to the team.
Yeah.
Where we should all be thankful and thrilled that this game is even getting finished, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, let's call a spade here, folks. There are team members that died in the defense of their country. So you're taking an entire development team, their families, and on top of having lost their home, they are still trying to figure this out. On top of that, they were getting cyber hacked left, right, and center. Yeah. So this game getting done is a big deal. Obviously, it being brought to being highlighted in Europe, where you would expect a European studio to be highlighted. Like I said, I think that's an amazing piece that you have put together. I still think there's one more on top of that. I think we get to see something else there. You got to remember, and I said this again last night on Primetime Gaming, Machine Games is in the EU.
Yeah,
we have not seen Indiana Jones. We have not seen what there else would. And
Wolfenstein 3
titles. Yeah. Wolfenstein 3. There you go. It's another perfect example. Yeah. So maybe we get a chance to see that. Listen, I don't know, but it is Microsoft's biggest booth.
It is
ever.
It is. And yesterday, Dutch pulled out his phone and he's got a list of all the booths and PlayStations and theater presentations and everything that was on there. And there's Hellblade, also European-based developer. Maybe we see that. Yeah, I'm with you. There's something else. And listen, we still have like almost 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Who knows if ABK gets done? And
by the 29th, I think this deal is done. Honestly, I think it's done by the 29th. And if it is, man, they could roll right into that, dude. Like, it's
Modern Warfare 3. We have not seen that yet. I would be seriously surprised if it isn't at opening night live. Like, that's the biggest show before the Game Awards. And you got to show the game somewhere. I could see that happening as well. And, even if it's not official and they only get the approval of the CMA, can you think about this? That 2 days before opening night live, we get the headlines, deal is done, and then Phil just walks up there with a smirk on his face. So it's it is a massive representation that they have this year there. Stalker 2 again will be playable, and I cannot wait. to get my hands on. And rest assured, everyone here, Dutch and I, we have planned to cover live from Gamescom. So we'll have podcasts and impressions from you live from the show floor, and we will definitely try to share as much as possible with you all to get these get some impressions. Dutch, I want to hear your thoughts real quick, but I want to catch up on one of the super chats from Tron TJ, who sends in $5. Thank you so much, man, for the outstanding support. And he says, I play my Xbox in Dolby Atmos in my theater room, Klipsch speakers, a 6.1.4 setup. Dude, that's some heavy bass you got there. I love it.
Dope. Yeah, man. Wow.
That's how you play games, man. That's fantastic. But yeah, that's Xbox biggest Gamescom yet. Besides being super excited to be there, what do you expect them to show, announce, reveal? What are they doing?
See, now this is the strange one. Well, strange and potentially good for us. QuakeCon had 0 releases, 0 announcements. They've announced that they won't be showing any new games. They won't be talking about any new games. Nothing will be happening at QuakeCon. Besides esports tournaments and things like that. So other than that, they're not showing anything at QuakeCon. So opening night live, do we see something from id? Or do we see something from Machine Games?
Yeah.
That's a big one. Do we see...
And Boom is right. They are European based, so...
Yeah. And do we see Stalker? Yes, I think we do. I have to agree. I think we get the release date at opening night live. And of course, we get to play it. And now, to me, I don't think you would be in a position to play it and have a booth at Microsoft's largest ever show, like standing at Gamescom, if you're not quite confident that that game's almost ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
I don't think putting it out into...
I mean, it's still got 4 months of development time, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If it releases in December, we're still in we just started August, and today is August 3rd. You know what I'm saying? So they have time.
Yeah. And we know that the game was already playable from start to finish before the war started. So, yeah. I mean, listen, no pressure on the studio. Like Boom said, it's... If any developer has a reason for delaying their games, it's them. The circumstances under which they try to finish up this game is... We've never seen something like that before, obviously.
I agree.
And they can take all the time they want. I will be there day one. We've already committed to do giveaways on our channels. I know, Boom, you are planning something similar to do, like real.
Yeah, we're giving 15 copies. Yeah,
exactly.
15 copies away. Yeah.
To support the studio, we're doing not 15, but something similar here. No, that's just channel.
Listen, it's just we originally were going to give away 10, and then we got so many super chats that were like donations towards it. We were able to put the money away to add an additional 5. So awesome. we're currently at 15. We're going to do a special Stalker show, and we're going to give away 15 copies. Again, it's just a mom and pop's organization like Double Barrel Gaming, helping. They're a little bit more than mom and pop than us, but they're a studio that might be in a financial crisis because of the move. And it's just our small way. And again, you don't take anything away from you. Whether you're giving away a copy, it's still 70. One copy, exactly. 5 copies. Just do the math. It's a lot of money, but it's our way of giving back.
Absolutely. And besides that, I'm genuinely excited for the game. I've played all Stalker games back in the days. I know people back in the days always said, like, when they want to brag with their PCs, like, can it run Crysis? I don't know. My friends said we were more like, can it run Stalker? And Stalker has been a fantastic gaming franchise, and I'm so excited for it to come back. we know they had troubled days like I want to say 12, 13 years ago when part of their team split off, started the Metro series, which were fantastic games. I loved them. But the open world aspect, the RPG aspects in Stalker, it's a massive game, and it's one of the most beautiful games. Seriously, it's running on Unreal Engine 5. You've all seen the trailers and the gameplay snippets, and it looks phenomenal. And I genuinely am excited. Besides all the story around this and wanting to support those devs, I'm super excited for the game. And I was really, really happy that you knows that when we heard that we will be able to play it in a couple of weeks. It's going to be awesome. But besides Stalker, what do you think? What could be there now?
I think something new from Xbox that we haven't seen. I've obviously mentioned id Tech and Machine Games, but I mean specifically from Xbox first-party studios themselves, their own portfolio, not Bethesda titles, not Activision titles, but specifically Xbox stuff. So we've seen what NXIL's working on. Could we see Compulsion? They've been ultimately quiet.
That is
we haven't seen
true.
them yet. They've been super quiet. Do we see State of Decay? There's a few outliers and they've mentioned themselves. Matt Booty and co have mentioned themselves. Listen, there's a few shows coming up this year. Yes. We're not done. If you haven't seen something that you wanted to see at this showcase, we've still got Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show, the Game Awards, another showcase. So there's something. What that something is the interesting part. I'm hyped to be going to ONL and potentially see that live. But yeah, it's really what I
really
want
putting
to
down
see.
The finger is hard.
What I want to see, ultimately, my thing is, and again, I know Hellblade's coming next year. I don't think we'll see that again until either maybe Game Awards or beginning of next year when they do a developer direct. Ultimately, what I want to see though is State of Decay 3. I want to see what that game looks like. I want to see what the coalition of helping do with Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
And I want to see how they've evolved, because the change that they made from 1 to 2 was significant. And even throughout the full course of 2's lifetime, which is still going, and they're still adding more content, has been significant. Had a full-on Series X and S upgrade. We worked all of the assets for it, so it was graphically improved from fidelity and resolution.
All of the animations have improved and so on.
Everything, the valid horde modes and everything. There's just so much extra content in that game that I'm so looking forward to see what they do with 3 that couldn't be realized previously.
Yeah. I hate to interrupt you, especially when you're on the flow, because I always enjoy listening to you, but our guest has to leave in less than 5 minutes, and I want to hear one thought. Boom. Yesterday, when they announced biggest booth ever, immediately, of course, on the streets of Twitter and everywhere else, the fanboys came out and told me that Starfield is going to have a problem because it's not playable at Gamescom. It will only be shown in theater, even though it comes out like a week later. What do you think?
I think what it is it's unfortunately the negative community grasping at straws. These are the loud, toxic fanboys that want to bring down the excitement of Starfield. I saw it out there. I don't usually like to make comments on it because it's just utter nonsense. But the reality is that the closer we get to the release of this game, the more hate you're going to see. Absolutely. Pay no attention to it. It's just dumb. It's dumb rhetoric. No one has. If you, I'll put it to this way: if you walked away from that 45-minute presentation and you were not moved, I'm going to tell you this. 1, Xbox just isn't your brand, and that's perfectly okay. And 2, get yourself to a doctor, have them check your pulse because you're probably dead. That's where I will leave it. I think to suggest that it not being available, because you got to understand, Stalker 2 is the star of the show.
Yeah.
That's what they want. It's a European developer who's been through the rigmarole, who is finally getting ready to release their game. It would be a bad decision, in my opinion, for a European show to be putting ahead of a European studio that's been through the ringer, Starfield, which it would envelop all conversation. We know Starfield is coming. It's going to be amazing. We saw 45 minutes of it. We keep seeing things of it. Let everyone else breathe. Yeah. And the fact that it's not going to be there, folks, it's not a freaking problem. It's just not.
I totally agree with you. You don't want to listen. You don't want to take the sails, the wind out of the sail of a Stalker. But with Starfield being there, it would happen. And then on the other hand, listen, what could you possibly show of Starfield in 10 minutes? And that's not what these playable demos are. 10 minutes. Yeah. What could you possibly show in 10 minutes of Starfield that represents the game?
It would be a mistake.
Exactly.
Someone will twist that 10 minutes. Oh, you see, I couldn't do this.
Yeah.
And it's not necessary. But listen, gentlemen, thank you so much for having me, and of course allowing me to hang out with you guys for an hour and 15. Folks, please, if you're finding Box and Burgers channel for the first time, please consider subscribing, as well as, of course, hitting the like button, because that does really help. Gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much, Boom, for coming on, and we hope to have you back soon, man.
Absolutely, guys. I'll see you later.
See you around. All right. It's always fun to chat with Boom. Dutch, I'm super sorry. I had to interrupt you earlier because you were onto something. Absolutely. Now, see, with Gamescom being this big, we know that one of the big criticisms in the community always has been Xbox marketing, not representing the brand properly, and for them going this big now at Gamescom, which is the biggest gaming event here across Europe, I think in the entire world, to be fair. We know E3 used to be the thing where bigger announcements were made, but in terms of attendees, there's nothing like Gamescom. And Sony not being there is also something we need to mention. They are the only bigger publisher that doesn't show up. Everyone is there. EA is there. Ubisoft's there. Nintendo is there. Everyone. Yeah. Sony doesn't turn up, and Microsoft really has the chance to make use of the excitement around, of course, Starfield, which comes out a week later, but also, of course, of all the other games. So we know that they have something at their booth, Hellblade related. We already mentioned Stalker 2. Towerborn's going to be there. Forza is going to be in theaters, not playable, but they will also have a theater demonstration there. They are going big. FanFest, obviously. The executives are there. Do you think this is going to be like a new beginning of a new marketing era where they changed their approach from not doing anything marketing related?
It depends, because I think, again, Bethesda do things on their own clock. So does Todd Howard. And I know Microsoft want to do it, but ultimately they want to go down that route, don't they? So I think they've just got ultimate control over their advertising and what they want to do for advertising. But it's of no concern to me how far in advance they advertise. Sometimes advertising far too far in advance, people are just like, so when's it? It's another month away yet. I'll think about it later on. It's another month away yet. I'll think about it later on.
Yeah.
And they've seen it before. They've seen the trailers. They've seen this 40-minute demonstration. If you have a look at the trends on searches for Starfield, it's soaring above Spider-Man 2 in Google Trends.
Yeah.
miles above. So does it need advertising right now? The answer is not really. It doesn't need advertising because people are already searching the living death out of Starfield to find out any information they can find out about it. So when they start their advertising push, which I think will be around about Gamescom time anyway, I think it'll be in a couple of weeks' time, about 2 weeks beforehand, they'll start the advertising push. They've already started doing these little bits. We've seen the animated trailers that have been going up on the channel and up on Xbox's channel, which people haven't seen, but they're essentially little story segments that give you kind of a bit of a background information about some of the factions and planets and worlds and things like that, and they keep uploading new ones. So that's a cool addition. But in terms of big advertising push, I think they'll leave that till closer to launch, and maybe it's 2 weeks prior.
Maximum. Listen, the attention span of people is small, and advertisement really helps you when you actually can buy the product. It doesn't help you it helps to generate excitement for something, yes, but everyone who wants to get excited in advance, they have done that with the showcase, with the Starfield Direct. They do it with these little tiny bits that we are getting, That's enough to keep the core community, excited. But advertisement is you see that billboard, you see the TV ad, you see the online commercial, whatever. Yeah, you see that, and then you want to buy the game.
Yeah,
and that's why marketing campaigns kick in way later. We've talked about it. Microsoft is weird with their marketing. They are, but let's also not forget that this year we have seen a real different direction. They have started the direct format. We already had 2 Xbox Directs. We had the one in the beginning with the surprise hit Hi-Fi Rush dropping. It was fantastic. Something the Xbox has not done before in that format. Yeah, it's a new way to communicate to the community, to communicate to fans and market stuff. Then obviously Starfield Direct, we had that, but we've also seen genuinely good marketing around third-party games with Diablo. Literally in movie theaters, I've seen advertisements, Diablo, and at the very end played on Xbox. They took the page out of Sony's playbook where they made it look as if Diablo was an Xbox exclusive. I like that. That's exactly what they've been lacking of. And so I've zero doubt that they won't be that they are not going to continue that trend with Starfield. Of course, but like you said, that's way closer to launch because the official launch is not before September 6th. That's more than a month from now. Yeah. So I do agree there. Tron TJ sends in a $2 super chat, by the way. It says happy birthday, Boxy. So thank you, man. Appreciate that. So yeah, Dutch. Final thoughts on Gamescom. I've seen people in the chat also say Starfield, okay, but why is Forza not there? Because you could easily fit one racetrack or so into a demo. What do you think? What's the reason there?
Forza's a bit of a different one. I don't know why they haven't done it. It's especially how close it's launching, because it has a release date now.
Yeah, October.
If it wouldn't have a release date, I'd be concerned. But they keep showing more footage on it, and week by week, every week they're showing new stuff off. It's just a little bit strange as to why they don't have a playable version of that, unless they just don't have a bite-sized version of it, or they don't have a control scenario where they can kind of realistically do a race quick enough to do it. I don't know, but it's a case of wait and see. No doubt we'll see at Gamescom as to why that might be, and we'll be able to report that back as to why they couldn't do a playable demo. Because I'll certainly be asking the question.
Oh, most certainly.
When I'm there, and I'll speak to the devs and ask them why there wasn't a playable section of Forza there, and I'll relay that back. But yeah, that's the only strange one. Starfield is not strange at all. It's a juggernaut of a game in terms of its size. It is massive. So for them not to have, you've got to think about this as well. Gamescom has like almost 500,000 people attending. Like when you've got a booth to try a game, what realistically are you going to be able to do in 15 minutes on Starfield that will give you a good impression or understanding of what the game is about, how it plays, what the missions are like? You're not going to get anything done. We've all played a Skyrim, we've all played a Fallout. 15 minutes, you'll not even get to the next town.
Yeah. And you're not getting past the character generator.
No.
So in that time frame, and there are not enough game stations in the world that they could put up in that area to keep up with the demand either. So for that, a theater presentation definitely makes sense. But I think also, like what Boom said earlier, is that it is definitely something to consider. You don't want to take away from all the other games. Stalker, of course, but also games like Towerborn's gonna be playable. There is so much we can play at that booth, and you want to take away something? I don't think so. What still baffles me is what Hellblade is doing there. They mentioned it's gonna be at the booth. There will be photo options. There will be what did they call it? A not theater presentation, but
something like that.
Do you think we might see combat? Because that's what we all want to see.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Did they show a little bit of something off?
Maybe.
Well, I don't know. Again, if they don't, I'm going to be asking.
Exactly. That's what we're for.
They need community feedback, and I'm going to make the most of my time there to ask the people that are in charge of these things when we can expect to get this footage that we need and want. The community ultimately wants to see that. They want to see the combat of the game. They are absolutely impressed with the graphical fidelity. They're impressed with the audio quality. They're impressed with the story building you've got. Ultimately, they want to see the improves on the combat.
Yeah.
The combat was okay in the first game, but you need to make the next step. The combat needs to be really improved. So if it isn't there and we don't see it, I'll be asking again, like I did before. So.
By the way, for all our community who's listening, either live right now here in the chat or after the fact, Spotify, wherever you're listening, if there are questions, and I will put up dedicated posts on Twitter, on YouTube, on the Discord, and everywhere. If you want to ask us certain questions to developers, we can't promise that we'll be able to ask them all, but we do our best to answer, of course, your questions. So definitely stay tuned. If you put it now in the chat, the question, I will probably forget and miss it before we go to Gamescom. So no worries, you won't miss it. We will put up dedicated posts where you can collect your questions so that we have the chance to ask your questions. If you're not there, and if you are there at Gamescom, definitely make sure to get in contact with us. We have an entire extra day planned. We say that now when we booked the hotel, we said, hey, we gotta stay one day longer, not to play games, but to meet as many as possible from the community, because we definitely want to get to know you all. And I know for a lot of people it's not going to be possible, but of course for those who are there, make sure to hit us up, and we definitely want to meet you all, because man, our community is simply amazing, and we don't say it often enough how much we appreciate you all being here. We are sitting here. We are not the biggest channel out there, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
But we have a passionate and consistent community, and this is what excites me each and every week. You know, we have right now more than 120 concurrent live viewers, and we get a lot of listens across the podcast services as well. And this means so much to us that you all come here on a regular basis to talk and discuss gaming with us. We super appreciate you all. We don't say it enough, so thank you, truly. But let's move on from Gamescom. Or is there something else you wanna say about Gamescom before we move on?
No, I think you covered it off well there. Like you mentioned, if anybody wants to meet up with us and say hello, then yeah, just hit us up close to the time and let us know what days you're going to be there. We're there from the 22nd till the 24th. 22nd is going to be pretty
5th.
Quiet. If you're
25th.
there. 25th, yeah.
Yeah.
But at Gamescom, sorry, technically till the 24th. 25th is travel day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 22nd is going to be a bit quiet because obviously we don't do opening night live till the night time. So we've got a couple of hours to spare before that. 23rd is going to be busy. 24th is pretty much community day and have a slow wander around Gamescom.
Exactly.
So yeah,
man, but 23rd is gonna be exhausting.
Super busy. Yeah.
It's the press and media day. It starts at 8 a.m. It goes till 8 p.m. and 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. is Xbox Fan Fest. So we will be up on our feet for 15 hours, dude.
Oh yes, it's gonna be a busy one.
It's gonna be a busy one.
I'm gonna make the most of that hotel breakfast you recommended, by the way.
I did not recommend it. I said I'm just too lazy to search for cheaper breakfast in the morning. I have no idea. I've never been at the hotel.
You said they're very good.
said no such thing. I've never been at that hotel. I just said, dude, I'm booking that.
It's the best breakfast you've ever had.
Man, for that price, it's better be. It's better be.
You're telling me.
I just said in the morning I'm too lazy to go out to Cologne and search something to eat. When I wake up, probably a little hungover after hanging out with you in the bar, I just want to go down in the lobby and get something to eat, man. But
I'm going to be making the most of it and having as much food as possible.
Yes, me too.
We leave.
Of course. You know, I come from a region in Germany. It's called Baden-Württemberg. It's like the state I live in, and there's this prejudice against people from Baden-Württemberg that they are not willing to spend much money, and whenever they have food in front of them, they eat as much as possible. This is the reputation we have, and I will definitely make sure it stays true. So, all you can eat breakfast buffet.
Nice.
That's not what people want to hear, Dutch.
Of course it is. They love food.
maybe you, Desi baby here in the chat wants to hear that if there are pineapples in the morning. But other than that, I don't think so. So I want to move the conversation to a question.
Yes.
Do console sales matter? Because this week Sony had a record-breaking week. And actually a record-breaking June. The sales numbers for June and July, came out, and they had PS5 sales a jump in the UK, 75%. Some markets in the world more than 200% growth year over year for that particular month. Apparently, the drivers were Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, Saints Row, and Forspoken. Not Diablo. At least what I got from the GFK data. But GFK data. So I want to raise the question. We've seen this now for the better part of this year, for the better part of last year. Sony selling consoles left and right. Could argue, of course, about availability, no doubt. Bit better for PlayStation for a long time. Still is here in Germany. You told me yesterday, apparently the Series X can be found easily in the UK. Definitely not here. Microsoft Store, not available on Amazon. It's just through some, weird stores that sell them overpriced on Amazon, but not regularly through Amazon. So, console sales. We hear PlayStation sold more than 40 million PS5s already. The estimation is that they already outsold Xbox 2-1 this gen so far. Does it really matter? Because at the same time, we are talking about things like earlier in this show, when Larian Studios comes out and say, hey, it's simply more work to optimize for Series S as well. Yeah, you already have a lower install base, so potential sales are low, and then you have to put in double the effort. So I want to ask you the question: do console sales matter, and should Xbox focus more again on actually selling consoles? Because we've known or heard it for a long time now. They don't want to out-console Sony. They want to focus on active users. And they've seen a tremendous growth of Game Pass on PC, but not on console. And that's why we've seen them shifting away the focus from the console experience. So, do console sales matter?
No, even PlayStation found that out to their detriment. They said as much last year when they started bringing the PC ports over. They said, yeah, well, as much as we have 120, 130 million users, we're only selling 10 to 20 million copies of our first-party games. So it's not good enough, and we need to expand. So as much as having a good, flourishing console base is good and key, do they ultimately matter at the end of the day? Do the sales matter? It's a yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes, you need to have that. You need to have that casual base. You need to look after that casual base, because the vast majority of people don't want to be picking up these high-end PCs to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the vast majority of casuals won't ever set foot on a gaming PC anyway. They just want to pick up something that's nice and easy, like an Xbox, a PlayStation, a Switch, whatever. Buy the game, turn it on, play it. They don't want to muck around with settings. They don't want to get all the bells and whistles. They just want to play the game. So you're going to have to cater for them. Xbox need to do better in catering. I think they've took the eye off the ball a little bit and focused on everything, as opposed to making sure that the console guys are looked after. So I think there's two sides of the story. PlayStation need to kind of focus on the overall stuff now, because they've already got the brand down for the home console. That's not going to shift. It's always going to do big numbers because PlayStation's a big name. It's a household name. It's well recognized. No matter what they put out, it's going to sell. Even if it does bad, like we saw with the PlayStation 3, it still sold buckets. So it makes no real difference. They're just that name now. People are going to buy it. So to PlayStation, do console sales matter now? No. What they need to focus on is, how do we get more people to play our $200 million budget AAA games that we're creating? How do we get more people to play these? How do they do that? They expand their ecosystem and say, right, let's go into PC day one, which I think they'll have to ultimately do, because they're not getting the big traction that they want on PC. Yes, they're getting a little bit, but not enough. So they're gonna have to speed that process up. And I think day and date on PC and PlayStation is the way to do it. I don't think it's going to harm the casuals on PlayStation at all. The vast majority of people will still continue to buy the games on PlayStation. But that's where I think PlayStation need to do, is they need to kind of expand themselves a bit. Xbox, on the other hand, have expanded and expanded and expanded their ecosystem to the point where now they're really focused on everything is in console. Yeah. And I think we need to just funnel that down a bit. Go, okay, we know it's coming out on PC, we know it's coming out on cloud, etc. But we need to make sure that the console version ultimately is kind of refined and it is as good as it can be, and look after that core console audience and win back some of that ground on the consoles, because they're really starting to lose pace again now. So I think Xbox need to refine the focus back to console for a bit. PlayStation, on the other hand, need to expand and look to speed up that process of getting multiple platforms. So yeah, it's a yes and no. It's a yes and no. For Xbox, I think yes, the focus should be more on console sales to get a little bit more of a drive there now. PlayStation, no, I don't think so. I think they'll sell regardless, and I think they need to focus on expanding their potential buyers.
You make a lot of sense with a lot of things you say. I would still try to argue a little bit from a different angle. While I do agree that PlayStation definitely should extend their efforts on other platforms, especially bring like their version of Play Anywhere. When you buy the game on PlayStation, you can also play it on PC. I do agree there, definitely, and we want to see those games come day and date to PC as an option. But what happened with Xbox is obviously that they lost the focus on the console. And the console is what made the brand big. It just is.
Yeah.
Xbox, started as the console brand. Now, while I do really appreciate what they have done with the ecosystem, it's still my main reason why, besides the controller itself, and the community that I've now found through Xbox, of course, that's keeping me on the platform. But I love the ecosystem approach. I love to be able to go back and forth in between console, Ally, PC, having these options, having that seamless ecosystem. It's phenomenal. What they've created with Game Pass is outstanding. But Game Pass started on console. Backwards compatibility started, of course, on console. Well, on PC it's always been available, but you know what I mean. They have created the brand around the console. And them not focusing anymore on that console core community that they've created, their core customer base, it is losing them a lot of, potential future customers in other ecosystems as well.
Yeah.
Console sales do matter because it is an issue that Square Enix thinks it is a good business decision to not bring a Final Fantasy 16 to a console. But of course, if your install base is small, this can become a discussion point. Especially when you have the more complicated system to develop for with the two SKUs, So I would love them to focus more on console sales. I think that's what gets casuals into gaming. If a casual gamer they don't want to hassle around, like you said, they don't want to hassle around with PC gaming. They don't do that. They just want to plug and play. And that's the console experience. That's how you grow your market. Get casual gamers into gaming and convert them into hardcore gamers like us. And if you focus, and this is a super selfish thing, because I do have a very capable gaming PC, but I prefer to play on console.
Yeah.
And when, of course, there are more consoles out there, we are getting better experiences on console. Again, when it used to be a console mainly ecosystem, during the 360 days, especially in the first half of the Xbox One generation, that's when they enhanced the console experience permanently. We've been getting great dashboards. Now we make a big fuss about the new dashboard, which has simply smaller tiles, and that's it. But we actually got an significant improvements in the dashboard. We got DVR functions added in. We got backwards compatibility added in. Auto HDR. We got all those features. We're not seeing Xbox do that anymore. Yeah, they're just not. When was the last big thing that they brought out? That was FPS boost at the launch of the console generation, which was 3 years ago.
The one thing they've been sneakily doing over the last couple of weeks, and it isn't just related to Call of Duty. They've started to bring on, and I don't know why or what's brought it on, but they've started to turn on historic online multiplayer servers for random games in a back catalogue. Like all of these BC games, whether they be multiplayer or single player, that weren't able to be played, have started to become online again. They've started to switch these servers back on. It's a really weird move, but it's appreciated by people because they want to go online and play these original games.
Absolutely.
But also,
it's
another strange thing that has occurred this week that you might not have seen. There's been a lot of older Activision titles start to appear on the store now.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Like, which is cool, and it looks like BC's coming back because, it's that's been a nice little sneaky move. That's in anticipation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. They need to do more of them things. They need to do. They need to bring back the system of
at the same time,
and HDR.
Yeah. And at the same time, they don't even care to bother to optimize their own first-party games for their console with Redfall 30, Starfield 30.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that Hellblade is going to be 30. Like, who said it in the chat? I'm sorry, I lost it in the chat. Who said it? Someone in the chat said, and I do agree. If they will continue down that road, Drone Dude said it exactly. People will shift more over to PC. I've seen so many people out there saying, "Oh, I built a new PC for Starfield because I don't want to play it at 60," and so on. And this is, this is a ripple effect. This doesn't happen overnight, but it's a ripple effect that you will see become a trend if they don't focus more again on growing the console market as well. I get that from a business perspective, they want to grow on PC because it's a bigger market. There are simply more gaming PCs out there than consoles. Yeah, true. I get that. They want to grow on mobile, obviously. Yeah. And they still see cloud as a potential to reach a lot of people that do not want to invest into dedicated gaming hardware. I do get all those moves. But cloud, let's be real, it is nowhere near the success where they hoped it would be. It's not that it's particularly a new technology now. We have had it now for 3, 4, 5 years, yeah. And it's not skyrocketing. Yeah, we've seen it. ABK revealed that. Like, what was it? 5,000 players in the UK use cloud. That's it. It's not a market to focus on.
Yeah.
And PC belongs to Steam. It just does. It makes sense for Xbox to be on PC. I do agree there. But solely focusing on growing on PC, I don't think that this will evolve your brand. At the very end, their biggest competitor is PlayStation. And the one thing that PlayStation does is they try to focus on the console experience. You gotta give them that. They do. Whether they do it with the right methods is a different thing. We already talked about some of the weird stuff that Sony is doing, but in this show. But they definitely focus on the console experience, and I want Xbox to find that focus again, man. Because I do think that console sales matter. Xbox is first and foremost a console brand. It's more than that now, I know, but that's what made them big. That's why we became a fan, is because of the console experience. And so, yeah, I do think that console sales matter. But good chat, man. Good chat. What other console is going to probably come out soon? That is the Switch 2.
It is.
Yeah, the rumors have been out there for, I want to say, at least a year now. Yeah, that Switch 2 is coming, but it really looks like it's going to be 24. We've heard this week that a lot of sources different sources told Video Game Chronicles that some key partners of Nintendo have the development kits already.
Yeah.
Out there. At the same time, we heard they passed 130 million lifetime sales. It is. We gotta give Nintendo that, yeah. Impressive.
It's almost on track to outsell their strongest handheld, which was the DS, I do believe, which is 136 million.
And now it finally looks like 24. You think early fall? What do you expect?
I think fall. I think fall. I don't think it'll be early. I think latter 24 is when they'll release it, but they'll release it with something. So it depends on what that game is.
Didn't the Switch launch in May?
It might have done, but we've got to think of what game they have releasing.
There is the rumor that there is a new 3D Mario game.
Yeah, but Mario Odyssey 2.
Something like that.
Because didn't they launch with Mario Odyssey?
Yeah.
Or did they launch with Zelda?
No, they launched with Odyssey. And Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
Was multi-plat.
Was multi?
It was cross-gen.
Cross-gen, but it came out... Hang on, when... Breath of the Wild, when did that came out? March 2017, and the Switch release was March 2017. It launched with Breath of the Wild. When did Odyssey then come out? So hang on, October 2017, so 6 months after. Right. So
launch with the Zelda, right?
Launch with it's been 7 years since they launched a proper Mario game in 24. I could see that being a launch title. And obviously would reveal that game then along with the console itself. So I could see that happening.
Yeah, they've still got other games that are yet to come out. So you've still got the new Luigi's Mansion that's yet to come out. You've still got a few, and those were announced for this console. So I suspect they're either going to be cross-gen, or the console is going to be late 24.
I do think that, at the beginning, the launch game is going to be cross-gen, just like Breath of the Wild. It makes sense. I know it drives sales. There's also the rumor of backwards compatibility. Do you think that Nintendo will do it?
Yeah, it'd be absolutely ridiculous to just ditch 130 million customers. It would be ridiculous to do that. Yes, they'll still support the previous console for a time after, but you'd have to be ridiculous to not allow people to use their games on the next console.
But the one company that does ridiculous things and gets praise for it's Nintendo.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
But they don't. Well, they do and they don't, because we use the perfect example of what happens when they muck around and find out. But well below par, ugly bit of kit that underperformed drastically, and it wasn't what people wanted. So they have to do something right, because what Nintendo don't want is another Wii U situation.
Absolutely.
which sold like 30 million or something.
That's why I genuinely believe that they will stick to the classic Switch format. It will be the same concept of a console. When they went from the Wii to the Wii U, they switched the concept of the console. When they switched from the Wii U to the Nintendo Switch, they switched the concept. Even GameCube to Wii obviously switched the concept. They're not gonna do that. It will be the same hybrid console mixture in between handheld and docked console. They will stick to that for concept of a console. So yeah, I hope so, man, that they will have backward compatibility. I would definitely love to have that. It will be interesting to see how capable the new NVIDIA chip in that console actually will be. I would be surprised if it doesn't feature DLSS, because it makes so much sense, obviously, at a hybrid portable console. So yeah, interesting stuff there. You know what else happened this week? And I wanted to discuss that, of course, as well with you and our community. By the way, we have more than 100 people right now here, and we would absolutely appreciate it if you could do us a quick favor and hit the like button. It helps out these little shows so much. So if you do enjoy the program, we would super appreciate it. And if you are new here, of course, please consider subscribing to the channel. We have this show every week, different guests. So it's always a good time at the World of Games. So if you do enjoy it, we would appreciate a sub. But Dutch, there are strong rumors out there that Sony has 2 new consoles in the making. The one is a slim model, which is rumored to come out this year. And we got some informations on what it will pack. And then we have the PlayStation 5 Pro coming supposedly end of next year. And we also got a couple of infos on that. So it is rumored, WCCF Tech reported on that the new PS5 Slim model, or whatever it will be, this year is going to sport a 5nm APU, which is not really a significant reduction from the base PS5. Doesn't mean necessarily it won't be smaller, but definitely they didn't go significantly down. It will not have liquid metal cooling, which is a good thing, because it's funny. When I remember being on your podcast 3 years ago or so, you just started the show, and we've heard about this technology, liquid metal, and I told you that in one of my previous jobs, not in the job that I work in now, but in one of my previous jobs, we developed PCBs, and you actually looked. I looked in my job a lot into different liquid metal stuff, and I always told you back in the days that liquid metal has the problem that it loses its liquidity after a while, and it looks like exactly that's happening to especially the PS5s that stand vertically all the time. So yeah, good stuff there. The PS5 Pro SoC is actually making a big move. They are gonna use the TSMC's new N4P technology, which basically apparently outperforms even the 3nm nodes, which is insane. Even though it's based on a 4nm process, so that is definitely a significant boost in chip size. So for the PS5 Pro, which is rumored next year, Dutch, what do you expect from these consoles? From a PS5 Pro, which is, let's be real, it's more or less but confirmed. Yeah. And do you think Xbox is gonna follow suit?
Yeah, Xbox, I think will have to, but I think again that decision would have been made a while ago. They can't just make it on off the cuff because it takes a while to develop these things. So yes, I do, but I don't think. I think it'll be maybe a year after, or a little bit longer until we see Xbox's next console, or mid-gen refresh. In terms of PlayStation 5, I don't see the giant jump that I think people are expecting from a mid-gen refresh. I think a little bit more overheads in terms of RAM. I think a little bit of faster CPU, a better GPU. At least we know we've got an APU. So, of course, in terms of what there would be, faster on the CPU and GPU side of things on that APU. But I don't think it's going to be Zen 5. I don't think they'll wait out for that. It'll probably be kind of early Zen 4. What we've seen from Sony is they don't wait out for the latest technology. We've seen that with the PlayStation 5. They didn't go for full RDNA. They didn't wait out for it. They wanted to get the console out in the wild first.
Didn't matter though. Didn't matter. Now 3 years into the generation, are we really seeing a difference?
Yeah, but no developers actually developed any games for these consoles yet that have been directly for these consoles.
But it never will, because all those games are developed for PC anyway.
Some PlayStation still.
Yeah, PlayStation is still developing. True that.
Yeah. Xbox is obviously Xbox is different, but the difference is Microsoft started off as a PC developer and then went to console. PlayStation didn't. So Microsoft have that slight upper hand thing, and they've always been developing software on PC, so they know how to develop software on
PC.
That includes gaming, and that's when they wanted to get in the console space. So, in terms of being what is already used, PlayStation won't. I don't think they'll use the latest and greatest. I think they'll do kind of a mid step for this, just to get a little bit more power, get the narrative for the short space where they've got the most powerful console, blah 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 blah, and then Microsoft will release their next gen refresh, or current gen refresh, which will then retake the crown again for power, and then ultimately a couple of years after that we'll get the next consoles.
So you do think we will get a Series X Pro or whatever it will be called?
Yeah, maybe it's a year and a half, maybe it's a little bit longer. Yeah, I don't think it's anytime soon. And we saw that last gen. We saw the PlayStation 4 Pro come out first, and then a year or so later.
Yeah.
Then
exactly
the X.
1 year later.
So, yeah.
I mean, last gen, the PS4 Pro came in 3 years into the generation, which would make it this year, which is kind of insane if you think about this. If you think back, like now we would get the mid-gen refresh. Next year I could see that 4 years into that, absolutely. And I do agree. I don't think that Xbox has their answer ready next year. I also do think they will do one, but probably a year later. So 25 is what I expect. In terms of what they can do, it is a difficult question, and we've discussed this before, so I don't want to stretch it out too long. But the thing is, we are already 2 generations in CPUs further. Zen 4 CPUs. Yeah. Next year we will get Zen 5 CPUs, and RDNA 3 is out. Next year RDNA 4 is going to come out. So you won't have those generational leaps like you did way back in the days when you had to jump from the Super Nintendo to the N64 and you went from 2D to 3D. You don't have those jumps anymore. Games and the quality increase gradually. But we've seen this gen not perform as good as we all hoped on both sides. It's not just an Xbox issue. This is on both sides. We played Gotham Knights at 30, Plague's Tale. We had this year, obviously, Star Wars, the issue, we got Redfall, and so on. We and Starfield now at 30, and obviously there's need for more performance to keep up with modern day game engines, and you can always argue, yeah, they better optimize more and optimize more and optimize more, but that's the thing about this. You can call it greed, you can call it lack of skill, pardon me. You can call it them not getting the time to do so. At the end of the day, those publishers are out there to make money. They want to. They can't develop games. Take already 5, 6, 7 years to make. Spending another year, 2, whatever, on optimizing more, yeah, is at the very end of the day a business decision, and we're not seeing that. And there's always a demand for like a premium product. That's why the 4080s and 4090s of the world in the PC space sell like hotcakes, because people want to play the best version possible. And 4 years, 5 years into a console generation, you don't have a state-of-the-art machine anymore. That's just the harsh reality. Software moves along. When Unreal Engine 5 comes, we will see whether the consoles will be able to keep up with the demand of that engine. It's a juggernaut, man. It's a juggernaut. And so I don't see the downside really for gamers, because it's an option. It's not like we're starting next gen next year. It's not. You have the option to get a better version of a PlayStation 5 that can probably, I don't even think that they will have more RAM, honestly, because the RAM prices didn't go down. But you will have a better CPU, better GPU, and get rid of the need to optimize more, which is in theory, of course, not good, but it's just a harsh reality of the world we live in. Since games already take that long and then release in a state like Star Wars Survivor did, yeah, where you had significantly optimization issues, and games get already patched years and years out until they perform the way they're supposed to perform. Kind of want to brute force that. That's simple as that. And again, it is an option. Nobody's going to be forced to upgrade. And since I don't think that Xbox is willing to spend the rest, when the PlayStation 5 Pro comes out, they are not willing to spend another 4 years or 5 years until this generation is over, losing every comparison in Digital Foundry, reading in every media article like the best version is to play it on PlayStation. They don't want to have that, so they will have an answer ready. Not probably, I do agree that it's not going to be the same year like PlayStation, or maybe they surprise us. Who knows? And just because it leaked with Sony and we didn't get any leaks from Microsoft does not mean that they are not that there is no chance that it won't come out next year either. But I would assume it's 25. We'll pack RDNA 4 and Zen 5 CPUs, and we'll be finally able to play Hellblade the way you're supposed to play it at 60, man. That's the thing. And Starfield, of course. And God knows at what frame rate Fable is going to run on the base series consoles.
Smooth 60. Pretty smooth 60.
I know that Playground probably don't want to. They are not going for the weird argument from Todd. I love Todd. God Howard, but with his 30 FPS view, I don't agree. I just don't. And I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Yeah, Playground will have a 60 mode.
Yeah,
absolutely. There's no messing about from that team. They know what they're doing, and they absolutely know how to use that console to its fullest. We've seen that. We've seen the pedigree so far with the other massive open world racing games. So there's absolutely no doubt in my mind, regardless what they do with the graphical fidelity, they will absolutely have a 60 frames mode on that. It's one of the studios I trust.
Yeah, me too.
But by the way, a little bit of extra news here.
Oh.
Baldurs Gate 3 is now at 418,000 players on Steam, making it the second largest release this year.
What was the biggest?
Hogwarts Legacy with 879,000.
Crazy. Good on them, man. The game apparently is really good. What?
Yeah, but it's even more surprising because it's super niche.
With that player base, would you call it niche?
But but you could say the same about Elden Ring. Like Souls genre is a super niche genre, yet it sold 20 million copies in a month.
Which is crazy because Zelda Tears of the Kingdom reported this week that they sold 18.5 million in 3 months now. So Elden Ring was a juggernaut, man.
Yeah, it was, and that's still doing big numbers on Twitch. But there's still a lot of people wanting to watch people play Elden Ring, and still.
I read this day, the other day.
Oh, there's another thing as well, because you played Elden Ring, you enjoyed it, but didn't feel like it respected your time ultimately. But Gamescom, Elden Ring expansion. We'll likely see it there.
Ooh, nice. Listen, people always misquote me that I did not enjoy Elden Ring.
No, you enjoyed it, but
I enjoyed it. I think I gave it a 9 or something like that. It's a very good game, but it's not the super masterpiece that everyone makes it out to be. But there was a guy apparently this week who beat the entire game playing it on a saxophone without getting hit once. And he finished the entire game without getting hit once and playing it through a saxophone.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen that.
Just saying. And to Roshan Eppinger's point in the chat, Zen 5 and RDNA 4 is a new gen rather than a mid-gen, right? Listen, that's what state-of-the-art hardware is. The Rock Ally came out this year. RDNA 3 and Zen... Is it Zen 3 or 4 already? I think it's 4. It's Zen 4 CPU. So, listen, technology moves on. Zen 3 is... Zen 4 is state-of-the-art, and Zen 5 CPUs come out next year, and RDNA 4 next year. That's just the harsh reality. And that's why when people always say, is there really a need for... Is there really a need for mid-gen refresh console? That depends on what you want to get out of your gaming experience. If you are fine to play the games for 8 years on the same hardware, that's cool. That's really cool, and you will be able to play it longer than that because cross-gen is going to be a big thing next gen also. So. That's cool, yeah? But there are people that want to get the best frame rates. They want to get more details, better textures, better lighting, all that stuff. That's why again, on PC, you have those options, yeah? And every 4 or 5 years, to have an optional choice to upgrade your console. I play thousands of hours every year on my console. I'm willing to invest every 4 or 5 years $500 into a new console to get like better performance, better graphics, and whatever. I am. But I get it. Not everyone is. And I'm not saying developers should not optimize because people are misquoting me sometimes. I'm not saying. I'm just saying you will see less optimization for games. And it's not just a console problem. It happens on PC as well. How many broken PC games did we have this year? Yeah?
Yep.
Star Wars Survivor was actually very much playable. I played it day one. Was it perfect? Obviously not. But it was very much playable. But on PC, like, even people with a 4090 had, like, real issues. So optimization is something that you will see a lot of studios not being able to do as much anymore. And that's simply the matter of the fact because games take so long to make. Yeah. Back in the 360 days where you had the turnover of 2-3 years. Yeah. It was a different story. Games were not as complex, the engines were not as complex, the hardware you have to develop for is not as complex. And that's simply why we won't see the optimization. I'm not saying it's good, I'm just saying that this is unfortunately the harsh reality. And that's why brute forcing it by simply having more performant hardware is the safest way to go. And yeah. So
I agree. I just think Sony won't put in the latest and greatest. They've already proved that this gen.
That could very well be. I do agree.
I think Microsoft. This is why I think Microsoft like going later, because they do wait. Whether it be to their detriment is another thing, but they will wait. And it could be the case that the PS5 Pro is Zen 4, but Microsoft wait a little bit and get a Zen 5.
Absolutely. I could see that.
And then it's like... then it's the same scenario again. It's
night and day difference. It will also be a very interesting thing to ask where you do you put the price point? I could see Sony go obviously a little bit more expensive, maybe 600. Maybe 600. I could see them go there, and then have like the base PlayStation for a year or two after the launch at, I don't know, 400 or 450. So somewhere like that. And with that, I do agree.
I think the PS5 will permanently reduce to 400. The PS5 Pro will be 500. And I say Xbox doing
the PS5 is now 550. There's no way they are going to bring out the Pro and it's cheaper than we have now the base PS5. So
but you've got to think of where the PS5 isn't 550 at the minute because they've got it on sale. The PS5 at the minute is 400.
Yeah, in your weird currency. What's that?
No, it's massively reduced.
You know, in British beans maybe, but listen,
here it's 80 off at the moment. We've got it on summer sale.
So the regular price here for the PlayStation 5 and the Series X now is $550. I know in the US people don't pay the $50 extra for the PlayStation. It's still at $500 there, but the rest of the world, it's whatever the equivalent is to 550 euros. Yeah. And I know there are a lot of sales right now. We had them as well a couple of weeks ago. Were PlayStations available at $430 is what I've seen. Yeah. But let's not talk about sales. Let's talk about regular pricing. Regular pricing is $550 right now. And there is no way that the PS5 Pro comes out and is cheaper than the base model right now. They will obviously reduce the PS5 base model.
Are you talking euros or pounds?
Euros.
Okay, I was talking pounds, you see.
Yeah, I
know this is.
I had to think about what's he talking about.
So all I'm saying is, I foresee, and I don't foresee it being 600. But I foresee them having a permanent reduction in price by the time the Pro comes out for the regular PS5.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They removed it. I don't know now in euro 550 to maybe 450. I don't know if they can go as low as 400. I don't know, somewhere in that ballpark, and then they will introduce the PS5 Pro at 600 or a little cheap, more expensive than now. I could see that happening. With Xbox, it's a little bit more difficult because they already have the cheap console. Yeah, they would have to reduce the price of the Series S down to, I don't know, 150. It's now 200.
I think they could end up leaving the Series S alone because it's still an okay price. It's like £250, well, pounds. Okay, £250. The X would reduce in price, and then they would have the
but then the gap in between X and S is too small. So you will bring with Xbox. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a little bit more difficult for them because they have to bring basically both down, not just the one. Or, and this is pure speculation now, where we are already in speculation town. The thing is that the Series X Pro will be something like the Elite controller, where it's like, okay, you gotta pay really more, and I'm really talking here like they bring out a console in the space of $1,000, somewhere in that ballpark, because they have covered the base versions. They have super cheap entry console. They have the then mid-tier console, which is the Series X, which will in 25, when I expect this console to come out, still be well. But they don't have like the really high premium market. And there's, especially in this, and this is the weird thing of inflation and all this financial crisis and everything, economy crisis that goes around the world. Premium products sell. It's the cheap stuff that people have struggles with. But the premium products still sell across everything. Yeah. And in this, I could see this being a model that you try to like not bring out just another console in this mid-price range of 500 to 600 range, somewhere there, but at the super high-end market, let's say $1,000 or so. And then really have like performance, I don't know. There's a lot they could do. Yeah. There's a lot. But Dutch, let's move on from this topic. We're already 2 hours and 15 minutes into this podcast, and there are actually a couple of topics I wanted to talk to you about. Final Fantasy XIV coming to Xbox Square, and that happened I know it's old news. For the most people here in the chat, it's old news, but this news dropped like Friday last week. And so the day after our podcast, and we haven't had the chance to talk about it. So just real quick, is this a new era of Xbox and Square? And what do you expect to come out of this newly announced, partnership?
In the short term, not much. The thing you'll get in the short term is FF14 next year. The other day I was saying, okay, now we'll definitely confirm Kingdom Hearts 4, but that's already on pre-order in the UK on a big retailer called Game for Xbox. So they've already got it for pre-order there. So big retailers don't usually put them up unless they know the platforms, which is why FF7 Rebirth is just on pre-order for PlayStation 5. So I foresee short term, you maybe get things like the Pixel remasters of Final Fantasy. You maybe get Octopath Traveler 2. You get a couple of those things coming in. Long term, let's wait and see. It's hard to predict with Square. Now a new CEO is in place, so that can have a massive reason as to why it is the way it is now, and why the deal's been agreed. But yeah, I think short term you might get a couple of the games that are on other platforms now. But long term, maybe when the FF7 trilogy's eventually been done and out in the wild, do we get that?
Yeah, what is that? That's at least 6-7 years from now, at least.
That's a while, yeah. Then we're talking FF17. I don't think FF16 will come to the console at all.
Neither. Sony has weird ass contract with them.
Yeah. And I think they potentially help partly fund FF16 as well as part of that contract. So I just don't see it happen. But that's all right. It is what it is with that game. I don't really mind. I'm more concerned on the future titles and remakes that they've got in the works, like FF9, and potentially then look at the rest of them. If FF7, which has ultimately been a success in its remake, then you do FF9, and then they look at maybe doing an FF10 remake, which is another fan favorite, and then potentially even go down the route of doing FF6 as a full-blown remake, because that's again one of the big crowning jewels of
Final Fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah, in the Asian territory, Final Fantasy V's the one that they all want. It's weird how that works. Asian territory 5 they view as being better than 6, and in Western territory 6 is the god tier Final Fantasy. It's weird. I don't know why.
That's why they remade 7.
Yeah,
and not even bothered with 9. So,
I think long term, as long as things like FF9 remake is going to be multi-plat, and you don't have this rigmarole that we got with 7, I think that'll ultimately be a great goal for Xbox to have. Because 14 is a good starting point, but it's an old game. It's great to eventually get it. It was one of them things that Phil Spencer promised. Way back when, years ago, he said, I will get that game on the console. I will get Final Fantasy 14 on the console. And he's eventually managed to do it. So he's ticked one of those boxes. And now it's a case of keeping that Square Enix relationship sweet and making sure that future Final Fantasies also launch on the platform. So it could be in part, and I mentioned this yesterday, it could be in part of Square and the new CEO seeing the ongoing and bettering relationship between Sega and Xbox. Very strong relationship now where they're releasing brand new games on the platform day and date. They're putting their games into Game Pass day and date.
All the Atlas games are coming, man.
All the Atlas games are there. All the new games that they're creating from Atlas and so on and so forth are going there and day and date into the platform. And on Game Pass. So they're seeing what is really the biggest Japanese publisher competitor to them having this really strong relationship with Xbox and seeing the benefits of that strong relationship. And I think they're saying we need a bit of that. It's clearly something is going well for that to be continuously improving. Like Sega obviously have seen a benefit to their relationship so far for them to go, you know what, we're going to put Persona 5 Remake on day and date, we're going to put Persona 5 Tactica on their day and date, we're going to put this brand new title on the console day and date. Like, there's obviously something going very well with either sales or player engagement or just a relationship for them to want to do that, and Square can see that. Not only that, but Square have seen the effects of what happens when you only release a game on one platform with 16.
Exactly.
And
I mean, obviously Sony paid for that, but we don't really know how much to compensate for the delta of skipping PC. Not even talking about Xbox, but also skipping PC.
Yeah.
That must be a ginormous amount of money that they lose out on. And I do agree with a lot of things you said. I expect games like Octopath being announced at some point in the future. Maybe the Pixel remaster. Who knows? But ultimately, it just feels to me that we have heard the same story. And I told you that it was either 2018 or 19 at Gamescom, where they came out on stage with Square and told us the same story. New partnership. That's when they brought all these Final Fantasy games to Xbox. And then they skipped all the exciting new games. Final Fantasy VII Remake never came out. Octopath Traveler didn't come out. Forspoken wasn't particularly exciting, but that never came out. And And of course, a lot of Sony has a lot to do with that either. But if the relationship would have been good, they would have come out. And they already told us the exact same story. So I truly hope that we will see this continued. But me personally, I'm not excited for Final Fantasy XIV. It's a 13 or 14-year-old MMO.
Yeah.
It's not for me. Sorry. I would love to see Rebirth come to Xbox, or 16 or so, but that's not going to happen. And so I wonder what will happen in the next couple of years that is so special about this newly found relationship with Square and Xbox. So yeah, let's wait and see. One more rumor before we move to our community questions, Dutch. I want to hear your thoughts real quick on.
Okay.
Oblivion remake.
Yes, please.
All right, next topic.
But
now you got a but.
Big but. Yep. Ditch the degradation.
But it's kind of part of the game, man.
Nah, it doesn't have to be. To remake.
It is part of the charm, you know.
Ditch it. Skyrim worked perfectly well without degradation.
Yeah, I know. Degradation usually does suck. Honestly, can you think of one game where degradation does not suck?
It was a little bit better in Tears of the Kingdom, but it still
it wasn't. It still sucked. I'm sorry.
The benefit in Tears of the Kingdom was the fact that you could attach weapons to other weapons to make them stronger, which is what made them last longer.
Yeah.
That you couldn't do in Breath of the Wild.
But then you fought like one big boss or one bigger enemy, and then the awesome weapon you just crafted, it was gone. It is like, can anyone in the chat name one game that the degradation of weapons good, where it was a fun game mechanic?
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't think of one game.
I understand it's meant to be for
realism,
immersion, etc. But let's face it, how many of these warriors that went to battle that we know of in history snapped their blades, just sheared them in half in the middle of a battle? Like, we're finding full blades like tens of thousands of years later, big fat swords that have just rusted over. They didn't snap anywhere near as much as these developers think they did. Like, weapon degradation is not that bad. What they really should do for weapon degradation is have like something like a 0.0005% chance that your weapon will snap. Like, something that is a realistic thing. Like, just something like, oh no, I can't believe that's just happened. And you have to get another weapon, but it's very unlikely. It's like a very, very rare thing that your weapon will break. That is what weapon degradation should be.
Cell 134 in the chat says Fallout New Vegas. No, it wasn't fun either in that game. Would have been a better game without it.
Yeah.
I loved New Vegas, best Fallout out there.
Yeah,
Obsidian, God tier. But no.
Weapon degradation can get in the bin.
Yeah, exactly. It just isn't. Not even in Diablo. What's the point of it in Diablo? Seriously, the only thing that this mechanic adds, that every 8th time you die, you have to run to the guy and get your stuff fixed. What kind of immersion does this add? It
just a pain in the ass.
The most unnecessary game mechanic ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not what we wanted to talk about. There was a rumor this week, man. A developer came out, a former employee, we have to say that claimed that an Oblivion remake is apparently in the works, and not just a remaster, but a full remake. Do you think this is a possibility? And seriously, what would we do if this is true?
Well, if Oblivion was true,
The remake, yeah.
Can
you imagine like Oblivion in the Creation Engine 2, like Starfield, looking like Starfield?
Oh, absolutely. Because the thing about Bethesda is they just hire all the modders that were making the game better anyway.
Yeah.
So there's already a team of guys that have completely remade Oblivion to
in
make
Skyrim,
it look fantastic.
Yeah. You can play. There's a Oblivion mod in Skyrim that literally lets you play the entire game in the Skyrim engine.
Yeah. So
Creation Engine 1.
All Bethesda do is just hire these people. That's literally what they do. They're just like, okay, well, do you want a job? You've spent many months making this, so you may as well work for us.
I would love that. Honestly, Oblivion is such an amazing game. So much nostalgia, and I mean, how old is that now? It's almost 20 years, yeah? I think 18. Yeah, it came out 2005, right? So, good stuff there, good stuff. But Dutch, let's move over to our community questions of the week.
Let's go.
Because there are some really interesting ones, man. Hang on, I lost my notes. There they are. Now I have to sneeze. God damn it. I think I caught the weird cold that my wife has had the last couple of days. It's starting to... Anyway. I'm sorry, I had to sneeze. So, turned off the mic.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. Do you know what Gesundheit actually means?
No.
Health.
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling us that.
I already told you. Yeah.
Just shouting help at you.
We shout health. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, dude, we are polite people here in Germany. Yeah, we wish only the best for everyone. Health. Yeah, so. All right. So Waller Weasel writes in and asks, have you seen the Xbox 2 One Chip Challenge? If yes, whose reaction was your favorite?
I haven't yet, no. I haven't. I need to go and watch it. Is it available for everybody now, or was it just Patreons?
I have no idea. I've seen a couple of clips being posted from Gas and others on Twitter. And I mean, Gas is like, but like, Jess wanted to play it down, but whew, there was some hot stuff there. 80 Metamatic writes in, I'm subscribed to Ultimate due to the fact you need it for cloud streaming. What if people like Brad Sams is saying is true, that Xbox might phase it out? Then I'll unsubscribe because a family member shares his gold. If they did phase it out, do you think they could add something else to make up for the loss of cloud? This and Midweek are awesome shows, and I always look forward to keep up the good work. So first of all, thank you so much for the compliment. Glad you're enjoying the show.
Yeah.
I have no idea that Brad Sams actually said that they are probably going to phase out cloud streaming from the Ultimate. Have you heard it? I don't think so either. What would they do with the cloud? They are not going to remove cloud.
They've made a whole rigmarole and a deal, and they've signed 10-year agreements with cloud providers. You're not going to phase out your own cloud system and then just give your games to other cloud providers.
I agree.
That makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know in which context Brad Sams said that, so I don't think that this is going to be a thing. Necro Ramos, our good friend Dave Ramos, writes in and asks, with the leaks about the PS5 Pro, I have naming conventions in mind. So far, we've seen a total of 5 unique Xbox consoles. Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X. could the next Xbox get called Xbox 6, bringing Xbox in line with PlayStation's numbering system?
No, because Xbox love to have silly names. That's ultimately what I think. No, I think they'll ultimately just go for a silly name.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Listen, if
And,
who
Gesundheit
in
Zero.
Microsoft said, "Hey, the third console we're gonna bring out, we're gonna call it the Xbox One"? Who thought that this is a good idea? Like,
because they already had the 360, and 360 meant everything, all encompassing.
I know, I get what the story behind it, but still, dude, when you are going into a store and see something on the shelf, you are not thinking. You're not going to take out your phone and Google what is the story behind this name. You're not doing that. Yeah, so.
Nope.
I think Xbox Series is better than One.
Yeah.
But still, I don't know. So, could they do that with 6? I could see them do that, because it has been an issue for them that they couldn't do like Xbox 2, Xbox 3. They would always be in one number behind. And they are a weird company when it comes to numbers as well, because, they skipped Windows 9. They went straight from Windows 8 to Windows 10.
Yep.
For whatever reason.
And then 9 to 11.
It's like, why not, man? And
9, 10, 11.
And then Dave Ramos actually sends in a $5 super chat right now and says, "Health to you, Dutch and Boxy, and even more health after you return from Gamescom. Guess." Untied.
You'll need it more than me, because Boxy's got to recover super quick in order to go on holiday.
That's true. I come back from Gamescom. You know what my wife is doing? She said, like, dude, if you are hanging out in Cologne with your buddies that you met online, I'm taking the kids and we're going to a farm. So she's going to be during the week when we are in Cologne. She's in the south of Germany with the kids at a farm, and
nice.
And then she comes back. We are 2 nights at home. And then we leave for Italy, going camping there. It's gonna be fantastic. So I need health after Gamescom. And he adds in the super chat, "Hope you did not even let me finish reading the super chat." So he said, #gas untied. We are both a little scared of gas. And rightfully so. Actually, I'm not afraid of gas. I'm afraid one of his friends, Gas, told me that one of his mates he's bringing from the UK is not that he looks like a schoolgirl next to him. He's like the most craziest guy ever. But he will be the sole reason we have an awesome time. He promised me that. So I'm looking forward to that. And Dave Ramos continues, "Hope you both have a blast," and we most certainly will, no doubt about that. Even if Gamescom would be shit, it would be a blast to just meet you all. So, Omatoni writes in, "Saludos from Michigan. When using character creators, do you usually make them look like you, random, badass, or the opposite sex? I find I spend way too much time perfecting my character that I often used up my gaming time or fall asleep before even starting the game. Any chance Starfield will have an online character creator before next month's launch?"
What would have an online character creator? Sorry?
Starfield.
No. No. Nope.
I don't think they will have it, but it would be awesome. Honestly, it would be awesome to bring back the companion apps for games. There was a time where it would make sense. Create your character up front. Hogwarts did let you do that, right? They did let you do that. Create your character up front, and then the companion app, you can do like shipbuilding on the app. Yeah, and when you get back home, you get into your new ship. There are ways, man. There are ways to do that. I would love to see that. But yeah, I know exactly the feeling from Omatoni. Like, sometimes I start a new game, it's the evening, took the kids to bed, sit down in my man cave and start a game. Then I spend like an hour in the character creator and I'm already getting tired and have not played the game. I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling. FRSX7974 writes in, "Hey guys, would you please advise me on 3 games I should definitely play? Please select games you've played within the last 3 past years, not based on launch dates, but on the dates you played. Thank you and have a good show." Obviously, I played The Witcher in the last 3 years, so we have to name that.
That I would recommend?
Absolutely.
Hogwarts, absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't not recommend that. That's still up there with a shout for my game of the year.
I mean, so basically his question is, what are the 3 best games you've played in the last 3 years? They do not have to come out in the last 3 years, but you played them in the last 3 years.
Okay, well, for me then, God of War Ragnarok, Hogwarts, and... Oh, God, that's so tough.
So I go Age of Empires 4.
Mm-hmm.
Witcher 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Hogwarts is a good shout, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. But one more, dude.
And I have to say Hi-Fi Rush for it was just fresh. It was nice and a nice little...
That was a good one.
It was a nice little bite size. It was a great story, well acted, well taught, a brilliant soundtrack.
It was
great fun.
I do agree.
Too short.
But if I think about the last 3 years, I've played so many awesome games over the last 3 years. I don't think I would put Hi-Fi even in the top 5 or so. Because you could also say, of course, Psychonauts 2, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, let's change that then. Hi-Fi Rush out, Psychonauts 2 in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was my game of the year that year as well.
Yeah. That
see, this is just me forgetting everything.
Yeah,
this is a tough question,
That's a good one. Yeah. Oh yeah, Gen X Gamer in the chat says Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, Atomic Heart.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Cyberpunk. I played that thing to death as well.
It was,
but I think, and strangely enough, I think I enjoyed Hogwarts more. I'm thinking about it. Like I really enjoyed Cyberpunk.
It's almost 3 years that I played Cyberpunk, man.
Yeah, but if I'm thinking about and again with Cyberpunk, I played that game pretty much non-stop, like I did with Hogwarts, and I did quite a lot of the side quests and things. I thoroughly enjoyed Cyberpunk, but Hogwarts got me to the point, and again, I don't do this often. It was eventually getting a Harry Potter-esque game, based in that universe that actually stood up. Like, it's not often you get something that matches the franchise that actually meets expectations, and Hogwarts managed that.
Yeah,
like, you think of what you would want in aside from the fact we didn't get Quidditch, what we would want from a Harry Potter game, we got awesome combat, we got flying, you got traversal, you got different creatures, you got great characters, you got a great story, a huge open world to explore, you got some of the iconic areas to go and visit. So yeah, I think it was just because of it's such a surprise. I think I have to put that above Cyberpunk. As much as I loved them both, I've finished them both, but yeah, Hogwarts on top for me.
Yeah.
Hogwarts, Psychonauts, and God of War Ragnarok.
Good shout. I do agree with Hogwarts. I knew that it was not a bad game, but I did not expect it to be that good. It looked beautiful. Yeah. It was a super beautiful. It captured this, there is just something about Harry Potter that is like magical, and it captured that magical essence of this world, even though it wasn't related to the books or the movies or anything. Yeah.
And I think that's why it did so well.
It so well. And
I think that's why it did so well, though, is because it allowed you to create your wizard or witch.
Yeah.
And it wasn't focused on a Harry or a Hermione or any of those characters. It was just you are your character, and the story is about you and your power.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it was really a good game. Great question, though. Great question.
Yeah.
Last one of the day. Have you seen the leak for the Sony Q controller? I know it's that's, by the way, a question from the Prophet 2011. I know it's last minute, but what is the panel's thoughts on this new device? Seems Sony is pushing hardware and not quality hardware either. I mean, that's the the weird handheld where they sawed a controller in half and superglued a smartphone in between. What are your thoughts on this thing?
Not required. Project Q is just absolutely not required. It's not. No, still not required. There is no need for this thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't think for a purpose of it, and it's literally just console streaming. So what's?
I can't add anything to that. I do agree, man. So
unless there's future benefits of maybe this thing will work with whatever cloud streaming they're planning on doing in the future, that could be a benefit, but launching without it will almost instantly kill it.
Yeah. I don't think you can sell a device properly on just the promise of console streaming within the same network. Not gonna happen. So, yeah, that was a quick question to answer.
Yeah.
But Dutch, that brings us to the end of this podcast. We are almost at the 3-hour mark, and we had a
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar, exactly. We had the outstanding Mr. Boomstick here today. Unfortunately, he was not able to stay till the very end, but it was an absolute blast to have him on. We had an even more awesome community. The chat has been on fire today. So super appreciate you all for sticking around that long. Big shout out, of course, to everyone on Spotify and Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, wherever you're listening. We truly appreciate you all. There's one last super member chat that came in from Pyromad. He said, for being a channel member for 8 months, by the way, which is outstanding. He said, sorry I'm late. I will catch the replay. Happy birthday, Dutch.
I think it was my turn now, because somebody said it was happy birthday boxing to you earlier. I think that was... So thank you for the belated birthday wishes, Pyro.
There you go.
2 months ago, but thank you.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
There you go. People wish you simply a happy birthday. That's okay.
Thank you.
That's good.
For this year, next year, and forever.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right. So, guys, seriously, we appreciate you being here. We had a blast. I want to say a big thank you for all the super chats that came in. Truly means a lot. And, of course, a big thank you to all the channel members. The continued support is fantastic. But yeah, overall, I just want to say again a big thank you for you taking the time out of your busy schedules and listening to us rambling on about gaming. So Dutch, let everyone know what you've coming up. And
yeah, indeed. So I haven't really got too much coming up before Gamescom. But there will be a few more gameplay live streams. I think I'm going to do Final Fantasy, like a classic chill out Final Fantasy 9 stream on the channel because I want to. It might not get many viewers, but I want to do it, and I'm going to be playing it anyway. But yeah, we're going to be increasing kind of the amount of streams we're doing and things, gameplay streams as well as the podcasts as usual every Wednesday. Of course, when we're at Gamescom, there probably won't be a podcast on the Wednesday because I think that's the 23rd.
I don't think it will be on the 22nd or 23rd because those 2 evenings we are super busy. With 22nd, we will be live at opening night live, so we won't be in the hotel before midnight.
But what I will have. What I will have is I'm going to be recording throughout it. So obviously I'm getting loads of footage, recording. I'll put some things together when I get back to the hotel on night times and have some kind of vlog kind of posts going on there. We can kind of see how parts of our day unfolded, etc. And kind of, if you can't be there, at least see what Gamescom is all about.
Yeah. We will definitely try to bring the Gamescom feeling as good as we can to our awesome community. And by the way, Pyro Mad in the chat corrected his super chat. He said, I rushed and typed Dutch, though as you were wrapping up, I meant Boxy with the happy birthday wishes.
Well, thanks for returning my birthday wish and happy birthday, Boxy.
And I mean, it's more than a week now, so I feel I've already arrived at the 40s club. So, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Pyro. Thank you. But yeah, that's the plan for Gamescom, Dutch. We wanna share as many things. So definitely make sure to follow Dutch, myself, and all the others that will be joining us. We are going with Gaz and John from Xbox Era and Mick and Irwin, Forza Irwin, and we're gonna have an awesome time, and we will be sharing, of course, on our socials and everywhere as much as we can live from there. We try to get definitely a podcast in there, us being in the same room actually for the first time during a podcast, and so yeah, we will try to cover Gamescom for you as good as we can. But yeah, before that, we will have 2 more regular podcasts here on Thursday. Next week, we're gonna have an awesome guest, and we will be back, of course, at the regular time next Thursday. But for now, a big thank you again, and I see you guys around, and don't forget to game on.